I am Rajesh Tangella, Assistant Professor, Department of EEE, Vignan Snehal Institute of Technology and Science for Women. Today I am going to discuss about Unit 1 of Power Systems 2, that is transmission line parameters. Let us go through the syllabus. So, syllabus of Unit 1 comprises the conductor materials and different types of conductors, followed by the parameters of transmission lines. Parameters includes resistance, inductance and capacitance. So, that means a calculation of resistance of solid conductors means transmission lines, calculation of inductance for single phase as well as for three phase transmission lines which are of single circuit and double circuit configuration. Next, concept of geometric mean radius GMR and geometric mean distance GMD. And next, symmetrical and asymmetrical conductor configuration with and without transposition. And next, capacitance calculations for symmetrical, asymmetrical for single phase and three phase which are of single and double circuit configuration. After all this, we need to see the effect of ground on capacitance and followed by bundle conductors. Next, let us go through the different types of conductor materials generally being used for the erection of transmission lines. So, commonly used conductor materials are copper followed by aluminum. So, these two are the main materials which are generally being used to manufacture the transmission lines. So, the choice of particular material will depend on the cost, the required electrical and mechanical properties and the local conditions. So, which type of material we need to choose in order to manufacture the transmission line conductor means depends on the main parameters of cost and the electrical and mechanical properties. Electrical properties includes the conductivity, whereas the mechanical properties includes the tensile strength, how strong it is, and based on the local conditions also, in which areas you are going to erect the transmission lines, snow areas or hilly areas, all these things. Let us go to copper first material. So, the main features of copper are high conductivity and greater tensile strength. So, conductivity is very high for copper and tensile strength means mechanical strength is also very high for copper. It is always used in the hot drawn form as standard conductor. So, hot drawn copper conductor means if you take a normal copper conductor, just by doing a process of hot drawing, it becomes hot drawn copper conductor. Hot drawing means the process of heating and annealing gives the hot drawing process. So, why we are going for hot drawing process means a hot drawing process gives the adds the feature of increasing more tensile strength for any conductor material. So, hot drawing copper contains more tensile strength when compared to a normal copper conductor. Next, copper has high current density. This leads to two disadvantages. So, what is the use of having high current density means smaller cross sectional area of conductor is required. If the current density is very high, then even for less amount of conductor, it can carry more amount of current. So, cross sectional area required by the conductor to carry the same amount of current is less. So, the area as the size is being reduced, the area offered by the conductor to the wind load is also reduced. However, due to its higher cost and non-availability, it is rarely used for these purposes. Generally, the cost of copper is very high when compared to other material which is aluminum and which is non-available. So, because of these two parameters, generally we move to aluminum. So, second material is aluminum. Aluminum is cheap and light as compared to copper. So, the cost of aluminum is less when compared to copper, but it has much smaller conductivity and tensile strength. But conductivity is low for aluminum when compared to copper. Coming to tensile strength, which is also low for aluminum. So, the main advantages of aluminum are it is cheap, means cost is low when compared to copper, and light in weight. Light means light in weight. So, weight of aluminum is low. But conductivity and tensile strength are low for aluminum when compared to copper. So, you can see here the conductivity of aluminum is 60% that of copper. So, the smaller conductivity of aluminum leads to the cross sectional area of conductor must be larger in aluminum than in copper. So as the conductivity is low for aluminum, so obviously in order to carry the same amount of current, aluminum conductor requires more size of conductor when compared to copper in order to carry the same amount of current. So this increased cross section of aluminum exposes a greater surface to wind pressure. So the wind pressure offered on the conductor size will be more as the size of the conductor is more. So therefore supporting towers must be designed for greater transfer strength. So as wind is creating more pressure on the transmission line conductors, so supporting towers must withstand these stresses which are occurring on the lines. Specific gravity of aluminum is lower than that of copper. Specific gravity means if you take for cubic centimeter of volume, aluminum contains 2.71 grams, whereas for copper it will be 8.9 grams for the same amount of cubic centimeter of volume. Therefore, aluminum conductor has almost 1/2 of weight of equivalent copper conductor. So for this reason, the supporting structures for aluminum need not be made so strong that of copper conductor. So as the weight of of course, if you take same amount of conductor material in this point of view, the aluminum has lower weight when compared to copper. So by taking this point into consideration, aluminum need not be supporting towers which are being used for erection of these aluminum conductors need not be made so strong than that of copper. So aluminum conductor being light in weight, wind pressure which are occurring on the aluminum conductors is low. So you can see in the video. So it is liable to greater swings and hence larger cross arms are required. So cross arm means it is the distance measured between two conductors which are going over a transmission tower. So as the wind pressure is creating more pressure on the transmission line, it tends to swing more and more. As it is swinging more and more, the cross arm length should be more. See, due to lower tensile strength and higher coefficient of linear expansion of aluminum, the sag is greater in aluminum conductors. Because of lower tensile strength and higher coefficient of linear expansion, because of temperature variations, the variation in the length of the conductor material, size of the conductor material is more for aluminum when compared to copper. So because of these variations in this length and size of the conductor, the sag is greater in aluminum conductors. According to temperature, the length of the transmission line may vary. So sag means, what is the sag? The distance between highest point of towers to the lowest point on the conductor. So this length is called sag. So always during the erection of transmission lines, the sag should be within the permissible limits. It should not be too low, it may break the transmission line. It should not be too high. So too large of sag reduces the ground clearance. So ground clearance should also be within the proper limits. If there is no proper ground clearance, so it may leads to sudden short circuit for an object which is exactly under the transmission line. So considering the combined properties of cost, conductivity and tensile strength, weight, etc., it is being widely used as conductor material. So as the cost is low, of course conductivity is low, tensile strength is low and weight is low, it is being widely used as conductor material. It is particularly profitable to use aluminum for heavy current transmission where the conductor size is large and its cost forms a major proportion of the total cost of the complete installation. So if you want to erect the transmission lines for over long length where cost makes an important point of consideration point in cost of installation, it is better to go for aluminum as the cost of aluminum is very low when compared to copper. So by taking all these previous points, so wherever the length required is more, the cost plays an important role. So at that point of view, so going for aluminum is better when compared to copper. So what are the main features of aluminum over copper? So the students can answer this question by going through previous discussion. Next, now let us see the types of conductors. So what are the different types of conductors? So first one is hard run copper conductor. So far we have discussed about the types of materials. Now we are saying about types of conductors. So first one is hard run copper conductor. Second one is cadmium copper conductor. Third one steel core copper conductor. Solid aluminum conductor. Hollow aluminum conductor. Stranded aluminum conductor. All aluminum conductor. Aluminum conductor steel reinforced. Aluminum conductor steel supported. All aluminum composite core reinforced ACCR. Expanded ACSR. And last one, bundle conductors. So what is hard run copper conductor? Already told you that by taking a normal copper conductor, if you perform hard drying process for the conductor, it becomes hard run copper conductor, which increases the tensile strength of the given copper conductor. You can see the copper conductor in the picture. So because of this hard drying process, the tensile strength will be increases, and which gives higher life for the conductor. So of course weather resisting properties will also improve. Next, second one is cadmium copper conductor. With the addition of cadmium, there is increase in the tensile strength of copper at the cost of decreasing the conductivity. If you want to increase more tensile strength, if you want to increase tensile strength more and more, just we need to add cadmium along with the copper. Then it becomes cadmium copper conductor, which increases the tensile strength, but which will reduce the conductivity to some extent of low. Thus, these conductors can be used for longer spans. Longer spans means or the span length means the distance between two towers is said to be span length. The distance between two towers is called as span length. Over this longer span of transmission lines, these cadmium copper conductors can be used even for more span length of transmission lines. As tensile strength is increased, longer spans with the same sag is possible. See here, as tensile strength is increased, longer spans with the same sag without affecting the sag, you can increase the span length, distance between the towers. As what is the advantage of increasing the span length? If you are increasing the span length without affecting the sag, or throughout the length of the transmission lines, the total number of towers requirement will be reduced, so that the cost of the installation will be reduced. Next one is steel core copper conductor. Steel core copper conductor, the name itself says, so conductors are made by surrounding a steel core with one or more layers of copper strands. At the center of the conductor, we will be having a steel core at the center of the conductor. Surrounding the steel core, we will be having one or more number of layers of copper strands. So next one is solid aluminum conductor. Solid aluminum conductor means throughout the conductor material it will be filled with conducting material without any empty space inside the conductor. So generally these are used in the substation bus. So previous three are the copper conductors. Now from 4 onwards we are going to see different types of aluminum conductors. So these are generally used in substation bus, suitable for short length bus. What is bus? Bus is a conductor which maintains a constant voltage, to which one or more number of connections will be given. So for short length buses which are generally used in substations, these solid aluminum conductors will be used. These cannot be used for long length transmission lines because the cost is more, as it is of solid conductor. So hollow aluminum conductor, the name itself says here also hollow. Hollow means inside the conductor there is some empty space. So it is also used in the substation buses, suitable for short length bus. Because of empty space inside the conductor, so it creates better cooling rate when compared to solid conductor. Next one is standard conductor. So stranding, what is meaning of stranding? So stranded conductor means it is made up of multiple number of strands, So instead of using a single conductor like a solid conductor, solid aluminum conductor, previously what we have seen there. Now stranded conductor means instead of using a single solid rod, we are using number of aluminum strands which are spiraled in opposite directions. Suppose if in the second from the center in the second layer, if they are spiraled in this direction, in the third layer they will be spiraled in this direction. In that way, these multiple number of strands will be used. So because of this, it is easy to bend and roll, and it is easy to transport. So all aluminum conductor. Next one. So due to increasing cost of copper, aluminum is the very important option for the erection of transmission lines. Here, in case of all aluminum conductor, all strands of aluminum with purity 99.7 are being used. So here, all aluminum conductor means all the strands are manufactured with material of aluminum with a purity of 99.7%. So which is high resistant to corrosion. It is installed in coastal areas. So lowest tensile strength therefore permit low span length. For this, tensile strength becomes reduced when compared to previous cases, but which permits low span length. Span length means the distance between two towers. So all aluminum conductors means all the strands are being manufactured with pure aluminum without any central core of steel. Next one, ACSR, aluminum conductor steel reinforced, very important conductor configuration. So it has a steel core forming the central layer. Aluminum conductor steel reinforced means in the central layer we are having a steel core, and around that we will be having a layer of aluminum strands like this. In the central core we are having a steel, and surrounding the steel we are having number of layers of aluminum strands. See here we are having 2 layers of steel core. In some cases we may be having only 1 layer of steel core. In the steel core also there may be a number of layers, and surrounding the steel core we are having 1 layer of aluminum strands and 1 more layer of aluminum strands like this. So here in standard conductors there is generally one central wire, and around these successive layers of wires containing 6, 12, 18, 24 and so on wires. Thus, if there are n layers, the total n number of individual wires is 3n into n plus 1 plus 1. That means, if there are n number of layers surrounding the central core, if you take n equals to 1, what it will be? 3 into 1 into 1 plus 1 plus 1, which gives 7. So totally if you are having 1 layer of aluminum strands surrounding the steel core, then totally you will be having 7 conductors. 7 means 1 central steel core along with 6 surrounding aluminum strands, total of 7. So if you are having 2 layers of aluminum strands surrounding the central core, then you will be having totally 12 of aluminum strands along with 1 central steel core, totally 13 conductors. So you can see here, if n equals to 2, it becomes 13. Now next one. So continuation to ACSR conductors. In the manufacture of standard conductors, the consecutive layers of wires are twisted or spiraled in opposite directions so that layers are being bound together. Already told you that if the layer 2 contains conductors in this direction, spiraled in this direction, then above that the layer 3 will be spiraled in this direction. So due to the stranding configuration, this process of spiraling the strands is called stranding. So it gives higher tensile strength, higher span length than AAC. AAC means all aluminum conductor, which is the previous case, and which is also light in weight. Weight is low, and small sag, small sag, and smaller support. Smaller support means height of the tower is low. Continuation to this is due to low tensile strength, aluminum conductors produce greater sag. As the tensile strength is more, it produces more sag. This prohibits their use for larger spans and makes them unsuitable for long distance transmission. So as it is creating the more sag, we can't use for long distance transmission lines. If you see in the sag point of view, not in the cost point of view. If you are talking about cost point of view, this point may vary. Next, in order to increase the tensile strength, the aluminum conductor is reinforced with a core of galvanized steel wires. As I already told you, the central core contains a steel core. Surrounding the steel core, there may be number of layers of aluminum strands. Because of this, the tensile strength will be increased. So, which creates totally aluminum conductor steel reinforced ACSR conductors. Next to ACSR is ACSS, aluminum conductor steel supported. Same like ACSR conductor. Here also, central core is made up of steel. Surrounding the steel core, we are having aluminum strands. But here, the outer aluminum strands are which are annealed aluminum. Here we will be using annealed aluminum. What is the process of annealing means? Annealing means it is the process of chemical reaction. It is the process of chemical reaction that will be used to change size, mechanical properties of a conductor. To change the mechanical properties of a conductor. Annealing means it is a process of chemical reaction that can be applied to conductor in order to change the size and shape like that, mechanical strength, all these things, mechanical properties of the conductor. So, good working temperature without crossing the sag limit, without affecting the sag limit. The temperature, it can be used for working temperatures of more value when compared to previous conductors. So, working temperature withstanding will be more. Next, more current carrying capacity than traditional ACSR conductor. So, because of using this annealed aluminum in the outer strands, so the current density means current carrying capacity will also be more when compared to ACSR conductor. So, next one is ACCR, aluminum composite core reinforced. Here the outer strands are hardened aluminum zirconium alloy. Here the outer strands are hardened aluminum zirconium alloy. So, why we are using these means? So, if you see the previous cases, in order to increase this tensile strength and in order to withstand the more temperature, we are moving for ACSS conductor when compared to ACSR conductor. So, if you want to use for more and more temperature, we will move to, and if you want to increase the current carrying capacity also, we will move to this ACCR conductor. So, because of using this hardened aluminum zirconium alloy, double current carrying capacity than traditional ACSR conductor. See here, current carrying capacity will be doubled when compared to ACSR conductor. So, core strands of advanced composite material, nothing but steel core over here. So, tensile strength is very high and low coefficient of expansion. So, low coefficient of expansion means even with the variations of temperature, the size will not vary. Less weight, less sag at high energy loads. Even at high energy loads, so weight will not vary and sag will not vary. So, next one is expanded ACSR. So, expanded ACSR means, suppose in sometimes if you want to increase the size of the conductor, we need to increase the size of the conductor in this way. How? See here, the central one is the steel strands. So, in between the central core of steel strands and the outer layer of aluminum strands, in this gap is filled with filter material. Here the filter materials may be of either plastic or fibrous materials or anything. So, this purpose is only to increase the size of the conductor. So, this increases the diameter of the conductor, which reduces the corona loss. So, what is the need of going for increasing the size of the conductor means to reduce the corona loss. So, what is corona loss means? We will see in the next sessions. So, we can see different conductor sizes for different voltage and current ratings in this picture. Here, it is for 300 amperes of rating, 33 by 66 kilowatts. These are the types of transmission lines can be used, and this is the size of the conductor which can be used for 480 amperes of voltage ranging of 66 by 132 kV, and for 220 kV, say 735 amperes, this is the size of the conductor that can be used, and for 800 amperes, this is the size of the conductor that can be used. You can see the physical variation between the size of the conductors for different current ratings. And next one, bundled conductors. So bundled conductors are used in the transmission lines where the voltage exceeds 230 kV. For very large voltages, generally we will use bundled conductors. At such high voltages, ordinary conductors will result in excessive corona and noise which may affect communication lines. Of course, above the transmission lines, we will use the communication lines also. So at such high voltages, ordinary conductors will result in excessive corona loss and noise which may affect the communication lines also. So what is this corona and noise? So corona means the phenomena of hissing noise and ionization of air around the conductor. When a conductor is carrying some current, around the conductor some particles will be there which will be ionized because of this current carried by the conductor, and which creates some flash. So that means simply power is being wasted in the form of light and heat over there, and which creates noise also. So anyhow, corona means exactly we will see in the next sessions. So this is the definition for corona. The corona means it is the phenomena of hissing noise and ionization of the air around the conductor. So which may affect the communication lines also, which creates interference. So and losses also in electrical terminology. Increased corona will result in significant power loss because of this flash and all these things, ionization of air around the conductor, which creates a significant power loss throughout the conductor. So bundled conductors consists of, what are the bundled conductors? Means consists of 2, 3 or 4 conductors for each and every phase. See here in the picture. So here we are having, for the same phase we are having 2 conductors. For the same phase we are having 3 conductors over here which are in equilateral space. For the same phase here we are having 4 conductors going which are in square shape. So what about the connection between these conductors which are related to same phase? Means here we will be using the spacers. See here, conductors are separated by each other by means of spacers at regular intervals. So at regular intervals means for every 30 meters or 40 meters we will use this spacer. Here this is a spacer. So these are the spacers which will connect these conductors which are related to same phase. So this is 2 conductor configuration, and this is second picture is 3 conductor configuration, and third picture is 4 conductor configuration. These are called bundled conductors, means more number of conductors will be used for same phase. So why we are moving for bundled conductors means the main disadvantage see here in the previous point we can see the advantage. So why we are moving for bundled conductors means which can reduce the corona. So how bundled conductors are reducing the corona means this thing also we will see in the next sessions, where we are completely discussing about the corona. So anyhow, the main disadvantage of transmission line is it's having high wind load compared to other conductors. Of course, one of the main advantages of using bundled conductors is to reduce the corona. But along with that, a small main disadvantage of you going for bundled conductors is having a high wind load compared to other conductors. So as we are using number of conductors per phase as more, so wind creates more pressure on the conductors. As size is being more, so wind creates more pressure here. So this is disadvantage with bundled conductors. So this is all about types of materials that are generally being used to manufacture the transmission lines, and different types of conductors that can be used for erection of transmission lines. Thank you.